Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the final edition of NBC 16 Today for the week. Billy,
yeah.
you excited for the weekend?
Oh, yeah, I'm pumped. I won tickets
Yeah.
to Lane County Fair, so I'll be there. I'm ready. I want to see racing pigs.
Check.
I want some kettle corn.
Check.
I want a good time.
The husband wants to see the motocross, he says.
wants to see the
So check.
motocross,
You got
so-
everything you need.
It's a perfect example of there's something for everyone there.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I've been saying all week long that you can't, if for you especially, coming into town recently and getting to see our community kind of on display at Lane County Fair should be, I'm excited for you. I'll be there for the Lupe Fiasco concert tonight. Maybe we'll run into each other, but I typically kind of slip into those things all by myself. Do a little people watching, back home to the couch. Red Sox game
for this
goes
all
to,
week, so
I
I'm
can't
excited
stop
for you.
talking about it. The weather for the fair should be nice too. That's the thing that I'm
great.
most excited about, because standing on the blacktop for the concert, this bald head, man, it's going to get way too much sunburn. Now, the sun will still be out in full force, but not really making me all too hot. Definitely temperatures in the morning, not a whole lot of difference compared to what we've seen over the past couple of days. It's the afternoon where things are really continuing to taper off and provide us a little bit of relief from those extraordinarily warm temperatures that the summer can provide. Now, at this point in the morning, we're talking mid-50s across most of the region. There are just some holdouts up into the coastal mountain pass, Junction City, both holding out just below 50 degrees this morning. It's Roseburg once again bringing home the warmest spot on the map as we start the morning. Satellite radar, very similar, almost a carbon copy to what we saw yesterday. A little bit of activity off the coast might provide a little bit of breeze, a little bit of moisture out there as far as that morning fog can be considered, but not a whole lot more than that. Expect similar conditions in the afternoon as we did yesterday as far as the wind futures are concerned. It's those temperatures, once again, that are dropping off just a little bit more. We're talking low 80s today. So, again, a little bit of relief from those warm summer temperatures.
President Trump signed a new executive order on Thursday, making it easier for cities and states to remove homeless people from the streets. The order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to reverse any judicial precedents or consent decrees that restrict governments from uprooting homeless encampments. The order also shores up federal money to help fund efforts to move people without homes to rehabilitation clinics and other facilities. This order coming after the Supreme Court ruled that people without homes can be arrested and fined for sleeping in public places last month.
We're going to keep helping people go from experiencing homelessness into shelter, into permanent housing, because that's what we need to do to have the healthier, safer Oregon.
Oregon Governor Tina Kotek also addressing the homeless crisis this morning by signing a bill establishing a statewide shelter program. Salem Bureau reporter Vasily Verlamos explains how the over $200 million investment will maintain shelter services that were established in 2023.
In 2023, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek declared a state of emergency to address the homeless crisis in Oregon. Legislators approved one-time funding to set up a shelter system statewide. Since then, the governor says they're on track to provide 4,800 shelter beds. The bill, which the governor signed into law on Thursday, provides an additional $205 million to keep those services going.
So we need to know the direction we're headed, how we make it sustainable, and we need to evaluate if what we're doing is working.
The funding will prioritize shelters with specific services. Shelters must be open 24/7 year-round and prioritize minimal barriers for access to receive funding. 70% of the $205 million must go to low-barrier shelters. The rest will support recovery-based shelters that support long-term stability.
Little as 3 years ago, Oregon had one of the worst unsheltered homeless rates in America. And part of the reason for that was that we just were not investing in state shelters that had outcomes attached to them, especially low barrier shelters.
During the session, some argued there's not enough focus on prevention. Governor Kotek blames that on the state's budget situation.
I think what we're going to see, however, in the next 2 years, because we didn't get the dollars we needed for prevention and all the dollars we needed for rehousing, that we're going to see a lot more folks needing these shelters.
A sign of progress for those facing impacts in Coos, Curry, and Douglas counties.
FEMA funding now approved to help those affected by March flooding. Governor Tina Kotek responding to this update saying the following, quote, "With limited state and local capacity, federal resources are essential to help communities impacted by disaster to recover and present prevent future devastation. FEMA stepping up to support our recovery effort is much appreciated. I want to thank President Trump and everyone who advocated to make this declaration a reality. Great news for those people down in the southern portion of our region that suffered some very serious flooding earlier this year. We've done a couple stories about them waiting for this sort of funding. So great news to see this funding released to help to recoup some of that money spent.
Yeah, I know when the Texas flooding happened, that was a national story that reminded us of something, of course, not as to scale, but that happened right in our backyard. And 5 months later, that's a long time to still be picking up the pieces. So I'm glad they're seeing a little bit relief there.
Yeah, I remember when you mentioned the Texas flooding, that brought our attention back to Douglas County. Say, hey, what's going on there? And no funding yet, and now just a couple weeks later, seeing some resolution. So more time will tell to see exactly how that money will help. But we'll continue to cover it. Now, also, if you look to the bottom of your screen, you can scan this QR code for our extensive coverage of the Douglas County flooding from earlier this year. In our coverage, we spoke directly with residents impacted by the floods, including a woman displaced from her home and her eventual return.
The new school year is inching closer and closer as we're already almost in the month of August. While schools prepare for the new school year, now they're also managing the K-12 funding freeze impacts. A school we haven't heard from yet now sharing their thoughts. That's Corvallis. The Corvallis School District says they are grateful for getting some of the money for before and after school programs, but that money comes with a catch. Schools must follow federal DEI policies. The district says DEI is baked into their curriculum. Teachers may have to adjust the particulars of their lesson plans, but the district does not plan on ditching DEI initiatives altogether.
It means that a student walks into a classroom and feels like they're welcome and they belong there, and a teacher greets them in a way that the teacher knows the student appreciates. It means that students can see themselves in the books that they're reading.
Corvallis has a policy in place which began in 2016. This policy states their school district is committed to racial education, equity, and creates access to opportunities that benefit each student. It's a policy they say they are planning to continue.
In our crime tracker this morning, the Eugene Police Department is crediting an alert deputy from the Lane County Sheriff's Office with the arrest of a man accused of raping a child. 23-year-old Reed Michael Squires of Eugene was arrested in Veneta after a deputy remembered seeing him at a homeless camp in that area. Officers from EPD and deputies from Lane County searched around the camp and found Reed near a public pool. Reed was arrested on multiple child sex abuse charges, all against a victim under 12 years old.
A person is in the hospital following an early morning stabbing in Springfield. Springfield police say the stabbing happened just before 6 a.m. on Thursday at a home on 54th Street. Started due to an argument that became physical, with the victim sustaining a significant injury. The victim was able to call police.
When we got there, our officers contacted both the suspect and the victim. We learned the victim suffered a pretty significant laceration to the upper body. Officers rendered first aid until medics were able to get there, treat and transport the victim to a local hospital for his injuries.
SPD says that the suspect is being charged with second-degree assault.
The Oregon Parks and Recreation Department is facing a budget crunch and is asking the public to weigh in on what they think it should focus on moving forward. The department is offering a survey to find out how it should prioritize spending in park operations. OPRD says it's facing a 14% shortfall for park operations by 2027, due mainly to increasing costs, increased visitation, and changes in lottery funds. An agency spokesperson says they're trying to get ahead of the crisis by taking steps now. And that includes public input on what park goers want to see in Oregon parks. We have a link to that survey on our website, NBC16.com.
The American Cancer Society needs your help getting cancer patients to and from appointments through a program called Road to Recovery.
Volunteer drivers volunteer their time and the use of their vehicle to take patients to and from their treatment appointments. So many patients may not have a network of people that can take them to their appointments. A lot of times you're not feeling well if you're having chemotherapy or radiation, so driving yourself isn't an option, or you may not have access to a vehicle to get there.
There is a volunteer sign-up page on their website for anyone who would like to provide rides or needs a ride. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 20,000 new cancer cases were reported in Oregon in 2022. Well, what a great program, you know, if you're looking to do some good work, some volunteer work. I'm sure it's much appreciated.
I say, whisper to the kids that need that have a car and a driver's license that need their community service hours. It could be a great way to do it. Meet some people in your community. My mom suffered from cancer when I was a kid, and having people around you, volunteers, the people that you love, being there rallying around you, makes you feel, the patient and the person, the family around it, makes you feel like there might be a chance at the end. So to anybody that spends their time doing something like that, my hat's off to you. That's a fabulous way to spread your community love and be there for one another.
Most definitely.
And